India has taken over as the world's most populous country after China's population dropped for the second straight year. Official figures show last year the number of inhabitants in China stood at 1.409 billion people. That's a decrease of 2.08 million. The fall is more than double that of the previous year.
The number of births throughout the year was 9.02 million, with a birth rate of 6.39%. The number of deaths was 11.1 million, with a death rate of 7.87%. The natural population growth rate was minus 1.48%.
It's a record low birth rate in a country that strictly controlled growth with its one-child policy, which ran from 1980 to 2015. The number of deaths rose sharply by almost 700,000 last year, the highest since 1974. Increases were expected due to the easing of harsh COVID restrictions. Long-term, China's population is expected to fall by 109 million by 2050. And it's one that is ageing, and turning around the fertility rate is proving to be a huge challenge. Many people are delaying marriage or choosing not to have children, in part because of the cost.
The government enacted some policies and appealed to the public to slow down this decline in population, and it's taken some effect, and there are some incentives for having children. I think some of these are useful, but people aren't going to have children just because of these incentives.
Nowadays, childhood is completely occupied by studies and academics, and kids get burnt out very easily. For the parents, they think that their children are under a lot of pressure, but the pressure parents experience is even greater than that of their own children. So this makes people a bit anxious about having children, and then people don't want them at all.
China's demographic shift comes as growth in the world's second largest economy struggles from the effects of the pandemic, a real estate slump and declining demand for exports. GDP grew by 5.2% last year, but it was the weakest performance since 1990, aside from the COVID disruption in 2022. At the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, the Chinese premier says his country is on the right track.
As the world's second largest economy, China has formed good and solid fundamentals in its long-term development. This is like when a person has a strong body, his immunity will naturally increase. Even though China's economy may experience some setbacks, its overall long-term positive trend will not change.